Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose.
Boots for it. I don't know what was in his body, but he moved out all them rounds like that. You know what I mean? All them rounds like that. I don't know what was in his body, but he...
Now, this is the thing, right? Boots Ennis, his father, Bozy Ennis, he made a comment about not knowing what was in the body of the Ukrainian fighter, Jaron Boots. I apologize for mispronouncing his last name. Now, with what he said, maybe it's innocent because Boots and his father doesn't strike me as a kind of person to make excuses. However, let's be real. Anyone who has high expectations of themselves, and if they don't perform to their potential, and anyone who's in a trainer capacity, if you have an athlete who's a special talent, and when they get out there into whatever sport it is, and they don't look so special, not the majority of the trainers and the majority of the athletes, the first thing that they don't look at really is what they could have done better or where they went wrong or want to tell themselves that maybe I need work. Majority want to finger point. Why? Why me? What happened? What did the opponent do? And in boxing, he couldn't have possibly done this to me unless he had an unfair advantage. Now, they don't strike me as those kind of people. It's actually a breath of fresh air to see a father and son duel without all the cussing, without all the finger pointing, without all the blaming everybody for what's going on with them. You know, someone who's choosing not to be in a victim stance opposed to backing themselves in the corner by choice and working hard to make sure every fight they get into, it's like they're trying to get out that corner and they're taking every opponent seriously. But when he makes the kind of comments like not knowing what was in the Ukrainian system, you know, 25% of people are probably going to say, he just didn't mean anything like that. But I'm going to tell you, words matter, man. And I don't care if we're talking about the sports world or we're talking about the business world. And you're going to work with a suit and tie. When people say stuff like that, oh yeah, so-and-so, the boss is saying how this person is a superior performer, outstanding leader, did a magnificent job. Then you get that one little crab in the corner. It was all right. You know that miserable ass in the corner that wants to diminish the person's performance. And to me, by saying I don't know what was in the system, it's like the little crab in the corner in the workplace that doesn't want to quite give his competition credit for just doing some things pretty damn good. Now, when we talk about it, you just can't help but think about, you know, what the hell going on like with Teofimo's pops. Teofimo's dad, all right, first it was Danny Garcia and his dad. To me, I'm going to be honest with you, an outstanding pairing. The fact that they're going to stick together, win, lose, draw, father and son, and going to get to the finish line together. You know, man, I really enjoy that. Now, there's been others, you know, Zab and his pops, Eric Morales, you know what I mean? There's been other fighters out there, man, that have fought with their parents, with their dad. Matter of fact, talking about parents, Chris Bird, dad, mom, sisters, like the whole family in the damn corner, you know? But when you really sit back and look at it, Danny Garcia's dad was pretty vocal. I think he's Mayweather's dad crazy too, but Danny Garcia's dad was the one who was pretty vocal and it was quick to want to make excuses and blaming the sanctioning bodies and the corruption and the politics and everything is bull crap. Even said that, you know, they gave him a hard time and created distractions and made it hard for Danny Garcia to get in there and win the fight against Keith Thurman. Instead of looking at himself and saying, you know what, maybe that I was, because I'm out here cussing and carrying on and using the N-word and acting like I want to fight Zab Judah, who would knock his ass out, right? if you didn't have all those foolish antics, maybe you wouldn't be in that position you're in, and maybe you wouldn't feel that everyone's picking on you when really they're not, and you created your own misery. Then you get to a guy like Teofimo Lopez and his dad. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, Teofimo Lopez is an amazing athlete. He's a fantastic boxer. But I'm not sure Teofimo, I think Teofimo, because I was close to my dad, right? I think Teofimo should finish it out with his pops. I do. However, he should bring someone else on. Don't just fire your dad, man. To me, that's horrible. That's your dad. Keep that man there. He got you to this point. But at sometimes, man, you got to bring a breath of fresh air in there that maybe see things a little different and who can add to your program. And I think that's the position Teofimo Lopez is in. You know, they got to stop the finger pointing. You got to stop the crying. You got to stop looking at the opponents and saying that, you know, it's politics or the opponent did this to me. Like, that needs to stop. We got to stop that. And I think for Teofimo Lopez, they definitely need to bring in someone else as a breath of fresh air who can complement the father, but at the same time, point out some things Teofimo can work on. Because when Teofimo finished that last fight, and he was talking about, do I still got it? This isn't a situation like Kambosos and Haney, where Kambosos is talking about the art of war. He intentionally missed the weight on the scale just so he can go back and put himself through cycles in a hot-ass sauna, cycles through that damn sweatsuit, cycles through hot baths, cycles through whatever he could take that can help him urinate so he can come on the scale and make weight. Let me tell y'all something right now. Whether you've boxed or not, whether you've wrestled or not, whether you've been in any capacity, sports capacity where you're trying to cut weight, you don't just, you know, come out to the weigh-in and not make weight because you're thinking about the art of war and you want to make your opponent feel they have an advantage. That's bullshit. I'm going to tell you, and I'm someone who's cut weight before, that's not something you just want to do. Unless, you know, you want to come to the scale and in your underwear you're weighing, I don't know, man, you're supposed to weigh 135 like this guy Kambosos, and you weigh 135.2. Well, you know, if you planned it that way and the stars line up the way you planned it, the world you come from is perfect, and that's how it happens. Well, you just take off your underwear, if you got that confidence, right? And you just get on there butt naked, and then you make 135. But don't tell me you got to go back and wait a few hours to come back and make the weight because you intentionally planned it that way. That's all horse crap. Okay? So now we look at what's going on here with Teofimo and his dad. I think they need help. Now we fast forward to Boots Ennis and his pops. Now, I'm not sure they're going down the path. I'm not sure they're going down the path of the Teofimo Lopez and his dad, right? But there's some things that he's saying that concerns me. And I definitely believe, right, no one's going to love you like you love yourself. You'll never hear me say anything negative about myself, right? But what I will do is I'll always be real with myself. I may not say it to you, but with me, I always have an honest conversation. I think Boots Ennis, when he gets away from, you know, all of his friends, all the fans, all the media, and even away from his dad, and he's laying there in his bed, even, you know, by himself, and he's sitting there, man, and looking at his cell phone, and hopefully he throws that cell phone to the side, and he crosses his legs and crosses his hands behind his head, and he has his head on the pillow, and he's looking up at the ceiling. I really hope he's having an honest conversation with himself and saying, damn, if this guy, who's a not-so-special fighter, right? Because the Ukrainian's a good fighter, but he's not so special, right? And if I'm a special fighter, how the hell did I allow a not-so-special fighter to make me look not so special, right? He can't sit there and say, well, he ran all around the ring. The fight was kind of mundane, and he landed a couple shots on me because I got a little discouraged, a little distracted because I'm more frustrated because I'm chasing him around the ring. Because let me tell y'all something. When that Ukrainian was using that lateral movement, that in and out movement, he was doing some stuff like Lomachenko and Usyk. You watch Lomachenko and Usyk. You know, those guys will step in and get low and almost put their head in your chest and then come back out without throwing any punches. That puts mental stress on you. There aren't a lot of fighters who can be moving around laterally, stop on a dime, step into you, come back out without throwing a punch and keep moving. And then when you turn to chase after them, then they stop on a dime and let off a 2, 3, 4 punch combination. Like, that is just not easy to do. You got to be in a certain type of condition, and you have to train a kind of way to be able to fight like that. So that's why in the last video I did, we're talking about Erislandy Lara, talk about Mayweather, talk about Keith Thurman, you talk about even Miguel Cotto. A lot of people, I don't think, Miguel Cotto was kind of known for his body attack and stalking guys. But Miguel Cotto could box. And you watch him, especially when those Margarito fights. You saw a guy up on his toes in boxing and doing some amazing stuff. You saw a guy using lateral movement, stopping on a dime, firing off that left hook, firing off that right hand, right left, and then rolling and then getting underneath the punch and rolling out of there. And when you got a guy who fights like that, it's hard. It's hard to beat him if you don't know how to effectively cut off the ring. So when Boots is sitting there, he's got to really sit there and tell himself, man, there's some things I really need to work on. Not come in front of the camera and say, we'll go back, take a look at. Nah, man, forget all that. He knows that he didn't look special this past weekend. Now, he has some work to do. Can he get there? He does. But, man, I think it starts to hurt these fighters because when you look at, remember Teofimo Lopez? All that shit this boy was talking. I'm the king. I'm the this. And, oh, yeah, we're going to do a fight on Triller and J-Lo and Mark Anthony going to be there. And we may have Hulk Hogan come through in the WWE. And, I mean, what the hell was this man talking about? Yeah, this is where the money's at Triller, right? All that king, all that the best fighter on the planet, all that pound for pound. Man, Triller had their struggles over there. His ass went running back over there to Bob Arum. Got his butt in the ring. Kambosos let him know in the first round. This is not a tickling contest. And we saw what happened over the course of that fight. And we saw the meltdown he had at the end of the fight. You know what I'm saying? This man went from talking about how he was robbed, it's bullshit, it's politics, it's corruption. Matter of fact, I just want to thank God. Like, how you say all that in the same breath? Because you're not being honest with yourself. The one thing I'll say about Boots Ennis and his father, they're not to that extreme. But when Boots started talking lately, right, he was humble before. I'm the best welterweight in the world. I'm making these guys squirm. I feel like going fishing. My knockout streak's gonna continue. Boots doesn't normally talk like that. And this is what I liken it to. I liken it to Sean Porter. Remember when he was trying to fight Keith Thurman? All of a sudden, Sean Porter is coming out here like he in the WWE. He's coming out there making a big scene, confrontation, talking trash, stuff that he normally doesn't do. Then getting in the ring with fighters, Danny Garcia, calling him out. I mean, come on, man. And then we saw with Sean Porter, he could fight. He got the fights he wanted, but that wasn't in his character. And then you look at what's going on with Boots Ennis. Starting to become more vocal. I guess he's trying to speak things into existence, you know what I mean? But I just think that when you don't remain humble and don't remain hungry and you buy into your own hype, and don't get me wrong, the man, out of what is he, like 20, 28 and 26 now? So all those knockouts, got to be something special about his hands. But the opponents have a lot to do with it. But I'm not going to come in and do to him what that crab in the corner does in the workplace when you're doing something, pretty outstanding. I'm not going to come and say, well, it depends on who you fight. That's what people do to Deontay Wilder. To this day, they still won't give that man credit for having that Alabama hammer slammer in his damn right hand. So I'm not going to do that to Boots Ennis. But what I will say is, I think he took his eye off the prize and started to look more at himself and what he does in sparring, what he's done to those 28 opponents. I think it's 28, right? I think he started looking more at that instead of looking at the prize and what it took to get him to that spot. Because when he got in the ring this weekend, he was just trying to knock the guy out. He wasn't really trying to set anything up. He wasn't really trying to set traps. He was chasing him around the damn ring. Teofimo Lopez Cambosos. It's the exact same damn approach, man. But fortunately for Boots, he was able to get to the finish line. But I will tell you this. If that guy, the Ukrainian, I don't want to mess up his last name. I'll just call him Karen because that's his name, right? If Karen would have had some power, I'm telling y'all people, he would have had 2 top prospects at 147 lose this weekend. Rashidi Ellis, we all know Rashidi! We all know Rashidi Ellis, man, got caught with that bomb, which showed us that, maybe his chin isn't the best. So he got erased from the map, which I'm sure he'll bounce back. But it's going to take a long time for him to reconstitute, because what we could see happen with Rashidi Ellis is what happened with Broner, what happened with AJ. When you get hit hard, you get hurt, you can get hurt. You're not the same aggressive, outgoing fighter that's offense first in the ring. So I just don't think Rashidi Ellis is going to come back and be the same. I'm not wishing bad on him. I'm just being honest. I've sparred. I remember I was sparring. I gave the story a while ago. I'm going to keep it short because it's about Boots, not me. But I was sparring when I was living over in Korea. And I was in the ring with this guy. He was a Korean dude, man. He was a Korean heavyweight. He was like the national amateur champion. Now, when they give you them titles, it really doesn't mean anything when you go to some of these tournaments. But that was the title. But anyway, Coach brought me up to the spar and everything, man. Brought the American guy, me, to spar with this guy. And I'm thinking it's like a sparring session like what I was accustomed to here in the States, man. You go in there, you get some work, 100% speed, 50% power. You're not trying to kill each other. You land and get shot, you give them a break, but you're not trying to kill each other. And they threw me in that damn ring with this guy, man. And let me tell you, it was life or death. That first round, I was fighting for my life. And the thing is, I wasn't in fighting shape, really. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what the F is going on here? Second round came out. I slowed down a little bit. He was getting closer, but I was able to keep him off. But towards the end of that round, he got one that touched me more than what it should have. And I was like, nah, if I come out again, I'm going to get my ass knocked out. So I came out in the third round, and it was more of me, kind of jabbing, throwing the left hand, which I fought southpaw, intentionally to miss him, but to fall in and grab him, because he didn't know how to stop me from tying him up. So I tied him up, and I didn't come out after that. And I remember they were celebrating like he knocked me out, but I was tired. I was so tired, my legs were shaking. If you're a true boxing fan and you've been in the ring, you've trained, when you push yourself to a limit to where your body can't go no more, your legs and your body will be shaking. And that's how my legs were. But I could barely walk back to the corner. Like, my legs were shaking crazily. I couldn't control them. Then we all sat down on the floor and ate these little, meals with, meat and vegetables and rice in there. And everybody's very respectful, and that was it. But I give you that story to talk about Rashidi Ellis and how when you get hit like that, and when you're tired like that, and when you're human, sometimes it forces you to think twice about how you approach going into a fight. And it's the same thing with Broner and AJ. Them guys got hit extremely hard, and they've never been the same. So I don't think Rashidi Ellis is going to come back the same. But Boots Ennis and his dad, I think just work on cutting the guys off, cutting the ring off. I think that was a blessing in disguise, actually, for Boots to be in a position with someone that he was supposed to look special against, but wasn't able to because he wasn't able to do rookie stuff, amateur stuff in there, boxing 101 stuff in the ring. And I'm talking about just simply cutting it off. And I want to underscore this, right? Now, this is one thing that I'm going to say, and I'm going to be very direct. I'm disappointed in Boots' father because he has gone on record and says he doesn't do film study. Well, you got what you were looking for by not doing your due diligence and homework to give your son the best chance at stopping and knocking out this opponent at the highest, on the highest level, and in the biggest fight that he was in of his career, on the highest platform and the highest and the biggest undercard of Tank Davis. Foul, foul, foul. You hear a lot of these guys say, well, I don't watch my fighter. I don't study film. Man, shut up, man. Somebody in your camp is looking at it. I don't care. Tank Davis and Calvin Ford, maybe they should take some notes from him. They sat there during pre-fight press conferences, and they were complimenting the hell out of each other. I'm surprised they ain't French kiss. But if you're going to sit there and you got that relationship with him, Calvin Ford and his team, you watching that All Access. They were studying Hector Garcia. They saw what he did good. They saw what he did bad. But they saw he had a bad habit of keeping that lead hand, that jab hand down by his waist, which is to bait you in for you to make a move, and he could counter you with that backhand left. I mean, I'm not a damn professional boxing coach. I'm just a guy who's out here making videos about boxing because I love boxing. If you want to donate to the channel, thank you. I'd appreciate it. But if I could see that, I mean, then you know these guys should see it. So what I'm getting at is looking at the film footage and studying it is important, especially going into the biggest fight of your career. So I think they dropped the ball on that. But I know that Boots has his father is a great human being. He's a great coach. And I think he's open to feedback. And I'm sure these guys are on social media. But within their circles of people they trust, I'm sure someone had to tell them. If, in fact, they don't do film study, I'm sure someone had to tell them, hey, going forward, we probably need to look at X, Y, and Z. Right? But that being said, can't be out here crying. Can't be out here crying because you didn't look spectacular. You didn't get a knockout because you got touched up a little bit. And because now everyone's kind of, saying you got exposed. You got to take the bad with the good, good with the bad, bitter with the sweet. But the thing is, boxing fans can be hard on you. But once he comes back, no matter who it is that he returns against, and he has a great performance, boxing fans will be back there, man, rooting him on. But right now, I think it just shows there needs to be, there's some more work to be done. And it may be a situation in his case where, maybe he, like Teofimo, Dad needs to bring somebody in. I know it's a lot of people who are in and out of that gym, but maybe he needs to bring somebody on as well to kind of, help his pops out with him. Maybe not the other fighters, but specifically with him, because he's at a level. It's like being a property manager, right? It's like a guy who owns 25 Airbnbs. And you and your wife are trying to clean all 25 when every couple of days people are checking in and checking out. At some point, it just becomes too much of a task. You got to hire a property manager, someone to come and manage those properties and get cleaners out there and help you out. All right? Because you're forcing a situation. And when you force a situation, and in particular when they're talking about training a boxer, something gets overlooked and it could be detrimental. And something got overlooked this weekend with Boots Ennis and this Ukrainian Karen Chikazian. That being said, I hope they recognize what they overlooked and their opponent and their approach to the fight, and they make that refinement, because I think Boots Ennis can really make some noise at 147. But he needs to stay the hell away from Thurman, stay the hell away from Spence, stay the hell away from Crawford right now. Like, get those guys off your radar, focus on yourself, get a little comeback fight. I don't care what people say. I keep talking about Blair Cobb because I like Blair Cobb. I don't think Blair Cobb is going to go on and win a belt unless, Spence and Crawford move up and drop them all. Then he has a good chance. But I think Blair Cobb will be a good test for Boots Ennis, because Blair Cobb, he can punch. He's a boxer puncher, and he can move. But he's more of a B-level fighter. And I think that would be a good comeback fight for him. But they're going to do what they want. They don't want to take a step down. They want champions. So we'll see what happens next with Boots Ennis. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, people from all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.